No Bam, no Tyler, no Haywood Highsmith, no Josh Richardson, no problem. Last night, the Miami Heat made work of the Charlotte Hornets. The Heat win 115 to 104, bringing our season record to 14-10. What's up, guys? Your boy Ernest here, back with another Miami Heat Talk video. Excited, pumped, and ready to rock and roll on another Miami Heat Talk adventure. Before we do that, take a moment, guys, smash the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. We are on the road to 3,000 subscribers, and I need you guys' help to get there, so help your boy out. Last night was great, you guys, because it's showing you what this Miami Heat roster is fully capable of. Now, you win by 2 points against Charlotte in their home floor. You stop them from making a comeback and you win the game. But last night against Charlotte, on your home court, you beat the crap out of them. The Miami Heat blew open the game from the first half. Now, it was tight in the first quarter, but the Heat outscored the Charlotte Hornets at the end of the first half. And then they just never let up. The Heat were outscoring Charlotte. Now, I will say this. The Heat have been having a problem in the fourth quarter this season. We've been getting outscored by teams. So this is something that Eric Spoelstra really needs to look into. And I primarily think the reason why we've been getting outscored in the fourth quarter is simply because we don't have Bam and Tyler. For those of you that know, pretty much the entirety of the third quarter, Jimmy Butler plays. Jimmy Butler averages 11 minutes in the third quarter. He averages about 6 in the fourth, because half of the beginning of the fourth quarter, Jimmy's usually resting. They bring him out in the second half of the game, but when Jimmy usually comes back in the fourth quarter, he doesn't take over unless he needs to. He facilitates, he dishes to other players, he gets them better. He dominates when he has to. Especially the fact that we're 24 games into the 82-game stretch. You need to save it. But it was great to see the Miami Heat pull out this victory. It was great to see them keep a lead. That's something we've kind of had a problem with. We've seen the Heat sometimes go on this 20-point run. They're up by 20, and then they lose to some of these teams. One thing I will say about this Miami Heat roster this year that's different than last season. Look at our record right now. We're 14-10. Last year, I believe we were like 8-16 in this part of the stretch. So it's a lot better, but it's also because of the fact we're beating these crap teams. I don't know if you guys remember, but I was bitching about this pretty much the entire season last year and in the offseason as well. The biggest problem with the Miami Heat in the 2023 season last year wasn't the fact that they weren't good enough. They were better than what their record stated. It was the fact that we were losing against teams like this. The Heat weren't taking those games seriously. You lost to a bunch of shit teams last season, and that's why you only had a 44-38 record. This season, against teams under 500, the Miami Heat have a 10-1 record. That, ladies and gentlemen, is progress. And I know people will say, well, you have to beat bad teams. No shit. But at the end of the day, every NBA team is a good team. Any NBA team can smoke out anybody in the basketball court. But the fact of the matter is that when you're a championship contending team like the Miami Heat, the record matters. The standings matter. You want a higher standing because you don't want to have to go through what you went through last season in the play-in tournament. So right now, the first 24 games of the season, the Heat are sitting at a 14-10 record. We are 6th in the Eastern Conference, 4 games down from the first seed. The East is tight. You're seeing the top 4 teams are kind of taken away with this, and it sucks that the Heat aren't one of them. But you got the Sixers, the Bucks, the Celtics, and the 76ers. They're kind of the top of the East. A lot of them have only 7 losses. And then after that, you got the Heat in the second tier. I think the Heat are one of the best teams in the East. I don't care what the record says. It's simply because of the fact that we don't have Tyler and Bam. Tyler's been out for 16 games. Bam has missed several as well. Once we get a fully healthy roster, you guys, we gonna do some damage. Now, let's go over the game last night, shall we? Because we got multiple players that deserve flowers. Credit, you got to give credit where credit is due, you guys. I mean, I want to give player of the game to an obvious person, but I got to give it to Kyle Lowry. Last night, man, Big Booty Lowry gives you 24 minutes as a starting point guard. He goes 5 for 5 for the field, 4 for 4 in the three-point land, 3 for 3 from the free throw line. Dude couldn't miss. Gives you 17 points, a plus 14 out there. Kyle Lowry just continues to show us that what he does on the floor matters. The games where he only scores 3 points, you guys, if you look at all the other stats, if you look at the plus minus, Kyle Lowry helps this Miami Heat roster. And I know I was bitching about Lowry the beginning of the season as our starting point guard. I still believe that going into the playoffs, starting Kyle Lowry as the point guard is not the answer. But with the way that he's playing and the fact that he's in the best shape of his Miami Heat run, I may be wrong. And I really hope I am. I hope Kyle Lowry continues this productivity. But then you got to give the other player of the game to Duncan Robinson, you guys. 23 points, 6 for 9 for the three-point land, 7 for 11 for the field. He gives you 3 assists, 2 steals, 2 rebounds. He's just continuing to show that he is not just a shooter. He is becoming an all-around player. Much credit to Duncan Robinson. You also got Jaime Jaquez. Good Lord. I'm talking about this kid in every video, but it's because he deserves it. And if you tell me that Jaime Jaquez is not Rookie of the Year, I want to know what you're smoking. All right, because that's some great stuff. And I get it. Chet Holmgren is hands down probably the Rookie of the Year. Victor Wembanyama has all the hype, you know, but their teams suck. No, what am I saying? The Thunder's amazing. I'm sorry, guys. I was talking about Wembanyama. But I believe that Jaime Jaquez is the Rookie of the Year simply because of what he's doing with the role that he has. He's not a star. He's not the starter. He's coming off the bench. He's the sixth man, and he's giving you this productivity. Last night, he gives you 17 points, 7 for 16 for the field. He hits both of his three-point shots, 6 rebounds, 8 assists, and a steal. Good Lord. Good Lord. I mean, what are we talking about here? That's Rookie of the Year candidate. I mean, the numbers that he's giving you, I really feel that Jaime Jaquez is the Rookie of the Year. Not because of what he's doing, but the fact on how he's helping his team win. But Chet Holmgren is most likely the favorite. OKC is doing some damage out there in the West. He's not a rookie technically. It's his second season, but he didn't play last year. Look for Chet Holmgren to get that. But you're going to see Jaime Jaquez get multiple Eastern Rookie of the Months, you guys. I feel in the East, there's not a better rookie than Jaime Jaquez. And yes, I know Brandon Miller was drafted second. But you get productivity for him. Bro, Jamal Cain. I am loving me some Jamal Cain. Whenever we have multiple players out, this dude comes in and he's so productive. 29 minutes, 5 for 12 for the field, 2 for 6 from the three-point line, 14 points, 3 rebounds. Jamal Cain is another Swiss Army knife that we have. He guards multiple positions. His offensive game is evolving. We just have too many players in front of him. Jamal Cain, that's going to be a work in progress. You don't know what's going to happen next season with guys like Josh Richardson, Haywood Highsmith, Caleb Martin. Next year can be Jamal Cain's opportunity. This year, not so much. Jimmy Butler gives you 15 points, 4 for 8 from the field, 7 for 7 in the three-point line, 10 assists, 7 rebounds. It's like I said earlier, Jimmy last night was not about scoring. He was about facilitating and getting his players in. I'm loving what Jimmy Butler's doing. Mad respect to Jimmy Butler. With Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero out, he is not doing that star load management treatment. He's playing every game. He's busting his ass. He's making sure that the Heat standing stays good while our 2 stars are out. But believe me, the moment that Bam and Tyler come back, you guys, look for Jimmy Butler to take a week or 2 off. I'm going to be honest with y'all. And you know what? The dude deserves it. Kyle Lowry as well. Kevin Love, he had a huge game against Charlotte the last game. Didn't really do good this game. In 20 minutes, he goes 1 for 9, 3 points, but he gives you 8 rebounds and 2 steals and those beautiful outlet passes. I'll take Kevin Love all year long as a backup center. No issues there at all. But speaking of backup centers, Thomas Bryant had a showing. In 16 minutes, he gives you 11 points, 5 for 7 shooting with 9 rebounds. In 16 minutes. Spo needs to give this guy more opportunities. Just saying. Because Orlando Robinson in 12 minutes, he does give you 6 points and 4 rebounds. Look, You take Orlando Robinson, you take Thomas Bryant, you put their productivity together, it's good enough while Bam is out. But it's like I said yesterday. Bam Adebayo, we need him. He's the most important player of our team. Without Bam Adebayo, yes, we are winning these games, but it's against Charlotte. You know what I mean? Like, if we won last night against Milwaukee without Bam, then yeah, I'd be going like, damn, this team is bad. Can't nobody stop this team. But you go against Charlotte without Bam and Tyler, you win by 2, you win by 11 yesterday. It's fine, it's productive, but it's not the answer. We need Bam back. And that's why I was talking yesterday about possibly trading for another power forward to give us that flexibility. Now, nothing else after that, you guys. Caleb Martin with 9 points, 36 minutes. He had he's had a few great games. He's been averaging 18 points in the last 7 games. Last night was just a bad day at the office for Caleb. He had a 4 for 13 shooting. No issues there. This Miami Heat team, you guys, I've said it before and I'll say it again, we're a deep team. You know, the fact that we were missing 4 players last night, we're still able to be productive and we still win, tells you something about this roster. Because with all the injuries, we should be at the bottom of the Eastern Conference, but we're still winning games. That makes me proud as a Miami Heat fan, because that tells me Milwaukee, Boston, Philly, I don't care. In a 7-game series, none of these teams want this smoke. I'm not talking crap about them. They're great organizations. They're great teams. But I just feel we're better in a 7-game series. That's just the facts. And if you don't believe me, the numbers prove themselves. In the last 3 years, since 2020, the Miami Heat have made 3 Eastern Conference championships and 2 NBA finals. In the last 4 years, can't nobody touch the Miami Heat. Just a fact. You can say the Bucks because they won the championship in 2021. I'll give them that. But, hey, just saying. So, the next topic I want to get to, you guys, Duncan Robinson. With the way that Duncan Robinson has been playing this season, I believe that the NBA should look at Duncan Robinson as the NBA's most improved player. I think Duncan Robinson should definitely earn and get his flowers this season, because the last 2 years, Duncan Robinson has been way worse than mediocre. Duncan Robinson started as one of the hottest shooters in this Miami Heat roster in the 2019-2020 season. He carried that on in the 2020-2021 season. But then in the 2021 playoffs, something happened. Duncan wasn't the same player. Started missing all his shots. Then the next season, the 2022 season, we traded for Kyle Lowry. We brought in PJ Tucker. Things are going to change. Duncan Robinson starts next to Kyle Lowry. It's not working. Duncan is struggling. He's missing shots. He's not evolving. He's basically a one-trick pony. So he loses the starting spot to Max Strus. And he's coming off the bench. And you're thinking, okay, Max plays better defense. Maybe this is a good call by Spo. Maybe Duncan coming off the bench is going to work because he's going to be playing against the second unit. No. Duncan loses his spot in the rotation. That sucked. So Duncan doesn't really play in the 2022 playoff series. He doesn't really play in the 2023 season. He gets a lot of DNPs. And in the playoffs, the dude just breaks out. With Tyler Hero, Victor Oladipo going out, he just breaks out. He doesn't show his shooting quality. He showed that he's evolved his game. Beast mode. And this season, Duncan Robinson is having the best year of his career. Let's go over his numbers, shall we? In 22 games, Duncan Robinson is averaging 15.1 points a game. He's averaging 3 assists, 3 rebounds, a half a steal a game. But check out these numbers. He's averaging 48% from the field. He's never done that. 44% behind the 3-point line. Last year, he averaged 35, almost 10% higher. And he's averaging 85% from the free throw line. Ladies and gentlemen, Duncan Robinson is very close to having a 50, 40, 90 season. Only the elite players do that. Guys like Steve Nash. Those are elite numbers. And the fact that he's doing it on this roster as the fourth highest scorer on the team, because he's not the number one option. You got Jimmy, you got Bam, you got Tyler, you got Jaime Jaquez, you got Caleb Martin. So he's just eating when he can. And since he's been starting, since Tyler Hero's been out the last 16 games, those numbers are higher. He's averaging almost 20 points a game. So there's no reason why the NBA shouldn't be looking at a guy who wasn't playing last season, who got multiple DMPs, to the fact that he's one of the best players on this team. I don't think that there's any other player right now in the NBA that deserves most improved player more than Duncan Robinson. But the true question lies when Tyler comes back, and it looks like he's ready to come back next week. For those of you that saw the game yesterday, I'm sure you saw the video they were posting about Tyler, how good he was looking on the court. And that's amazing because the Heat is slowing this process down for a few reasons. You want to make sure Tyler's 100%, but then you're seeing the way Duncan's playing, and it's good enough. So the question lies, should Duncan Robinson stay as the starting shooting guard of this Miami Heat team? And if so, what's the adjustment that Erik Spoelstra is going to have to make? Because you know when Bam comes back, he's the starting center. In my opinion right now, Caleb Martin's going to be the starting four. You got Jimmy Butler, you got Kyle Lowry starting at the one, but now you have to decide between Tyler Hero or Duncan Robinson. If you ask me, I prefer Tyler being the sixth man of this team. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. His productivity is best coming off the bench because that way he doesn't have to play with Jimmy and Bam. When Tyler comes off the bench, you can put Jimmy on the bench and let Tyler play his game. You can allow Tyler to close out games with Jimmy, Bam, Duncan, and whoever the hell you want. That's where I feel this roster would be best. But the fact that Tyler Hero's making $120 million, it's not going to work. I think the best thing to do is to just try to see if you can start Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson in the backcourt. If you do that with Jimmy Butler, Caleb Martin, and Bam Adebayo, see how it works. Every player on the roster is 6'5" and taller. You got a tall roster out there. Try it. Try Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson as a starting backcourt. Maybe you can have flashes of Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. The problem is defense. Duncan has gotten better, but with Duncan and Tyler in the backcourt, teams are going to attack that defensive liability. So it's all how Spoelstra is going to play this. So I want to hear from you guys now. Do you think that Duncan Robinson has earned the most improved player trophy for the NBA this year? And when Tyler Hero comes back to the roster, what lineup would you prefer? Do you think it's best Tyler Hero being the sixth man? Or do you think that's going to take away from Jaime Jaquez's position? Put Tyler Hero as a starting point guard. Duncan Robinson as a starting shooting guard. Allow Kyle Lowry to come off the bench, which I feel is his natural best position. And let Jaime Jaquez continue to do what he's doing. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the video. I want to thank all you guys for the positive messages over the last few days. You're going to see this ridiculous Christmas hat all year long. Thank you so much for the love and support. And until next time, your boy Ernest out. That's enough said.